My upgrades are Invincible, Chapter 30, Fan Fiction, by Azazyel. We followed the stream of adventurers heading into the dungeon, so there weren't many issues getting down to the 11th floor, which the floors greatly opened up into cavernous, massive rooms filled with deep fog. The fog acted to make it so the larger but slower monsters could make their way over to people without being shot by either bows or magic from across the massive rooms that were conjoined by the typical dungeon stone hallways. Remember, hard armored's weak points are their eyes and neck. I spoke softly with a small frown at seeing a hard armored sluggishly walking through the thick fog that filled this floor. Tina slightly nodded and, with a scratching noise, she took off with her boot, sending a spray of rocks behind her as she tapped into her Blood Fury spear skill and used the spear I fused for her, that was just for straight combat with durability and piercing bonuses. She attempted to go straight for the monster's turtle-like neck. But a loud clanking noise rang out as the armadillo-like monster ducked its head under its chest with her spear cutting through the metallic spines that covered the back of the hard armored, and then she danced to the side to try to get to the monster's exposed side, but the hard armored just turned to keep its spiky top and front pointing at my swift supporter. Tina was playing the stronger distraction, and while the hard armored was hard focused on the quick and painful Palam stabbing the shit out of him with the spear that could break his spines, I took the time while Tina had the monster busy to slash back and forth with the rivers of blood katana, sending streaks of crystallized blood through the air and into the monster, which violently dragged the monster's own blood out of its body and making it hiss in agony at the feeling. When the hard armor then looked at me, after I clearly did more damage to it than Tina with my magical weapon, I heard Tina snort. "Dumbass." A loud crunch, followed by the noise of a spear shoving through flesh and ramming through bone, rang out before the monster truly screamed and whirled around, allowing me to see how Tina had shoved her spear through the leg and shattered the bone within the leg as she did so. The way Tina and I were able to bully the hard armored was a major point of how humans and the other sentient races were able to keep monsters on the surface and even down here in the dungeon in control, despite the monsters being many times physically more powerful than us. I mean, a single adventurer could easily kill a line of slow-moving killer ants with a hammer/pickaxe or any other specialized weapon. But if a single killer ant got their pincers around your leg, say good fucking to that leg if your armor isn't good enough to withstand the pressure of the killer ant's stupidly powerful pincers. The same went for this hard armor. It was literally the size of a buffalo from my old world and covered in 3-inch long and fist-thick spikes that could allow a tree to fall on it without any real damage being done to the monster. But with specialized spears and weapons that bypassed its strength, along with Tina and I dancing around the monster. I reached into my inventory and I pulled out my Leviathan axe, and as the desperate, hard-armed armored attempted to jump onto me and tear me apart, I stepped backward quickly. But while I backstopped, I still brought the axe down powerfully into the monster's head, making it stiffen for a moment before going limp as the axe shattered its skull and split its brains open. Do we just fuse the corpse into our armor for an upgrade? Or try to get the condensed monster drop and monster stone? I asked, wondering about the efficiency before Tina spoke her own opinion. We should add it to our spears to make sure we still keep up our growth and allow the spears to hunt these monsters easier, she said with a small groan as she flexed her hand to get rid of the vibration strain of constantly piercing through the monster's armor. I nodded, and so I fused the corpse of the hard armored into Tina's own spear, as she was the one with the OP skill that allowed her to actually pierce the armor of the monster. "Well, let's go," I said as Tina spun her spear around to make sure it was about the same weight as she was used to. We crested over a small hill, and as we went deeper into this fog-filled room we came across a couple of orcs, but they were easily dealt with even with their taller size. They were still slow, and with my own spear, I could easily stab them in the throat and eyes, while Tina would go and stab hers in the back of the knee and base of the spine to bring the humanoid monsters down to the ground. But as we killed the imps and orcs, I noticed something. Why does the dungeon even give orcs genitals? No one is going to really capture one with the intent to fuck one, right? I said with my lips twitching as Tina giggled at my innocence. Oh, Jake. You have no idea the depravity that lies within the red light district. There is a popular tale, and one of the highlights of the Zeus Familia is how they in the course of a week captured a vouivre for every single active member of the Familia, and they made a competition out of who could mind break and tame the humanoid monster woman. She said dryly, and I looked at her with my dead eyes as she continued with zero emotion in her voice. A few actually succeeded, most ended up just killing the vouivre in the frantic fucking. And a couple got their dicks bit off when they tried to get a blowjob. Apparently, Zeus was one of the ones who managed to tame a vouivre who now protects the god and acts as a sort of maid when Hera isn't around. She spoke with a wry smile. To which, to her tale, I could only think. The Zeus Familia is just the overpowered fantasy college fraternity with dude bros beating each other half to death all the time and then going out to slay any puss they could find. I don't know if I feel disgusted or intrigued. I thought before shaking my head and clapping my hands. Alright, that's enough about that. Let's get going. The infant dragons are typically in the back of the caverns, so let's keep hunting for one. I said quickly, trying to get our heads back in the game.